Help support our coverage with a free account on Privacy, the service that keeps your bank information private when shopping online. Take control of your subscriptions and other recurring payments, plus pause and close privacy cards at any time. And get $5 right now to try the service at collision.live/privacy. Hello, Internet. I'm Scott, and this is Plugkids Live Presents. In June, we like to feature some innovative startups doing interesting new things. And today, we've got one of those interesting startups here for you. Hello.
How's it going? Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure thing. I'm Nicole Ugloza, and I'm the CEO of Etha.one. And basically what Etha does is that it's a social and a news media platform that is using AI to mitigate misinformation and especially political polarization.
All right. That's a dangerous zone to be getting into these days. What brought you to wanting to take on this challenge?
Yeah, so I'd say it's a few things. A big one happens to be like a personal family thing. I'd say like almost everyone in the US probably has the same exact problem. Most people can't talk to their family or friends about anything political in nature, and it's just gotten to the point out of control. I'd say the other one is my professional experience. I used to work at Warner Bros. In a lot of different departments and systems, so I got to see a lot of things and how the media operated there. And then I also worked at this company called Workday. I did implementations for government and education systems. So I'd say it would be like a combination of the two, especially with like the environment in the US. And then I had a pretty crazy story. After Warner Bros, I got, let go because COVID, but I also did have a startup with a colleague of mine from SpaceX. And over time, I actually lost the startup and my job all in the same day. And then I had this, like I was like, okay, now what do I do out here in LA? And I ended up driving back to, Florida, but I ended up taking a detour and my car got stuck on a rock in the desert. And I ended up having to hitchhike all the way back with truckers across the entire US to just get back home in the midst of COVID. And the crazy part about all of this is that I didn't even have my phone on me because I had a mental breakdown and I threw it out the window.
No.
So, it was just like one of those days kind of thing. And 4 weeks completely off the grid, just trying to think of things that are happening around me. And when COVID hit, everyone was talking about all these different things. And I was like, misinformation is a bigger problem than we all think. So getting to see all those perceptions in different people, countries, places, and things, I'd say that's a really big part to the startup.
Sure. And one of the big problems is that misinformation comes from all directions, right? It can come from, as we've seen in what's happening in Eastern Europe. We see that misinformation comes from both sides of that conflict. I imagine it's really hard it's certainly hard for a human being to determine what is and is not nonsense.
Yeah.
So how are you tackling that?
Yeah. So like everything to me is like a process, right? I don't try to look at like the chaos. I try to take it step by step. So like the first part of the media is how does the route of the person saying something get to where it is on Fox or CNN, right? Okay. So outlining this path, that's what our AI will do, and that's how it's trained. We'll actually go to the first time something has ever been mentioned on the web. And let's say one of your politicians says, I love you. You'll actually be able to see it the first time ever anywhere on the web, whether it's video, picture, or text, over social media, news media, any kind of format. You'll be able to see it on this chart. And then you'll see the derivatives of how this news media kind of tears apart. And then at the very end, you'll actually even get to see all the fake news that's out there. So it's more of a representation visually than it is how Google currently has it, just straight up and down. Yeah. So that's like the first part to dismantling this whole media and communications process. And then from there, there's 7 or 8 other AIs that we have to work on to help create this whole system. But, slowly but surely, right?
Absolutely. And when you're a startup, slowly is the only way it happens until somebody writes you a big check, right? So I know that you're a beta. I believe you're exhibiting tomorrow. So where in the process are you?
Yeah, so we actually have our app on the Google and Apple App Store. We actually
Nice.
have 900 to 1,000 users each day. So you get a couple of people that you could start talking to on there. Even if you start chatting and seeing how to make the product better, we also, could talk to the founders to help create this new system for all of us. And now we're just focusing on user growth, hence Collision, and then
Sure.
investors.
Yeah. Both of those are good reasons to be at Collision.
Yeah.
Uh, so so let's talk about this from a general user's standpoint. Uh, how does the app work? What does it do for me? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so right now it's pretty still in the early stages, but right now you could actually up and down vote, comment on it just like other social medias, but
Okay.
it does allow you to up and down vote politicians and actually get to see their report card rating in real time, how the general public is actually thinking about them or what they've stated in the news media. Eventually it'll be to the point where you actually can see the proof of them stating it as opposed to it just being written on an article. But this is like one of the things that is a big value add. And then in about a week or two, we're actually going live with our first AI that shows the actual bias in the news media. So if you see
Oh.
Fox or CNN compared to one another, the AI will actually give you a percentage of how biased it really is.
Oh. Now that's now that's a number or a score that I can't wait to see in action.
Yeah. So it's like one of those
Interesting.
that levels the playing field no matter who you are in this media game, right? So
Right. Because, one of the things that people know that the media companies refuse to admit is that everybody's got a bias, right? It's human nature. We've all got a bias, and we tend to hang out with people that match our bias, particularly hire people who match our bias in the media. So, oh, we're an objective. No, nobody's objective. That's not how that's not how the human brain works. Of course, you're biased in one direction. Some
yeah.
companies are very open about it, and some companies try to pretend that that's not the case. So I think this score, so far, the score is my new favorite part of this. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see that.
I kind of laugh because some people compare it to like Black Mirror, the whole point
Okay.
system and stuff, but it's not like that damaging. But it could do some things if a politician were to promise something in the media and they didn't follow through with it. That could help with their report card kind of ratings tank a little bit. So it is something that is a new system, right? It holds everyone accountable. So tread lightly for right now until we go live completely with our full-fledged AI in about 3 years. But this is something that's transformative. It's not like destructive, right? It's a more of a disruptor that is helping news media fix its current systems, not destroy them. Same thing with politicians. Some of these people, an AI can outbeat any mind, right? In terms of thinking of different possibilities. We don't want to replace people through this, but we want them to use AI as a tool to make better policy and laws throughout the future.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And while we've been talking, just in the interest of full disclosure, I have installed the app. Uh, while we've been talking, it's really interesting so far. I'm on a bit of a Tinderish screen here, with some politicians, Bill Cassidy, Mitt Romney. So tell me what this UI is all about.
Yeah, so we kind of got it from both Tinder and Hot or Not from Mark Zuckerberg. So it's just kind of one of those things that makes it fun. Instead of just reading it all the time, this would be a really cool format. And plus, like this also like it makes it a little bit more interactive, right? It'll be eventually turned into like kind of a game where these stories will be broken, and you'll get to see piece by piece how it's broken down, and then you're gonna have to read just a couple of clues and then start commenting so you're at least a little bit more aware going into a conversation on our application.
Sure, that's pretty cool. I'm just getting started. For everybody who's watching, I am just getting started looking at this. But yeah, it's got a lot of traditional social aspects to it, and then it's also got this these couple of interesting, unique features like the like the Tinder type thing. That's cool. I can't wait to explore this some more. I imagine a lot of our viewers are going to feel the same way. If they want more information or links to download the app, how can they do that?
Yeah, so all you have to do is go to Google or the Apple or the Google Play Store. So all you have to do is type in ETHA, ETHA, or in Google it's ETHA.ONE. It's not .com. We did it .1 because we want the whole world to come together. So
Nice.
that's the quickest way to get to us.
Very cool. And tell me about the name.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite questions. So ETHA is derived from ethanol. So how we wanted to portray it is to have distilled truth in the media. But it could also mean like ethics, right? So those are kind of the two things that we wanted to involve with our name. And the bunny rabbit is almost kind of a symbol of, I wouldn't say peace per se, but definitely a very neutral animal as opposed to the donkey and the elephant.
Sure. I like that. I'm very much looking forward to playing around with this a little bit more in the very near future, in like 10 minutes or so. So thank you so much for joining me today and coming to talk about this. Good luck exhibiting tomorrow. Hopefully your goals will be met.
No problem. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And that's just another one of the interesting companies we're talking to this week to end out June with our startup month. So definitely stay tuned on YouTube or on the website for more interviews to come.